I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball. And wherever that may be.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
I want to regain my happiness from playing basketball. And wherever that might happen, can I find my joy back here on the court? Probably not. The NBA's most significant narrative this year has just escalated, as following their humiliating defeat to the Indiana Pacers, Jimmy Butler claimed that he has no hope of rediscovering his joy for basketball with the Miami Heat. He has now sought a trade from the team he joined in the 2019 season. He has reached 2 NBA Finals with them and possesses a player option for next season. This situation has developed rapidly, with exchanges between Shams and Jimmy Butler's agent. Several teams are involved in this, and it would resemble a 2K-style trade if they executed a Jimmy Butler deal. I believe a Jimmy Butler trade could happen soon. I will mention that I'm unsure if I would trade for a 35-year-old Jimmy Butler who has more than a $50 million player option for next season at age 36, as he will be entering year number 15 then. Currently, he is averaging 17.1 points, the lowest since his third year in the NBA with the Chicago Bulls during the 2014 season. He is also averaging 5.5 rebounds and 4.7 assists. His efficiency has been decent this year, shooting 55% from the field, 37% from 3, and 78% from the free throw line. However, Jimmy is aging, and he's not as strong defensively as he used to be. Offensively, he's been quite erratic for the Heat this season. While he had standout games, scoring 30 and 35 points in that overtime defeat against the Detroit Pistons in mid-December, he has encountered struggles since then. He had a 0-point game in just 7 minutes on December 23, followed by a 9-point outing against the Pelicans on January 1, and another 9-point game last night against the Indiana Pacers, culminating in a 13-point loss to Indiana. Kudos to Kawhi for his breakout performance.
And, for him to say that, I thought, is that Jimmy trolling or is that Jimmy serious? If you're not on the court playing against Boston or on the court playing against the New York Knicks, you should keep your mouth shut.
In that match, he has asked for a trade and recorded a -27 rating during the game. It's unclear if Jimmy recognizes that he isn't the primary option anymore, and that it's definitely been Towers' year. Perhaps he feels frustrated after Pat Riley effectively told him to quiet down in the offseason regarding his extension request, leading to questions about whether Jimmy is joking or serious. If he's not actively involved on the court against Boston or the New York Knicks, he should probably stay silent. All these factors appear to be converging. He seems to still care for Miami, but is growing weary of Pat Riley and the Heat as a whole. I'm surprised, as I believe Eric Spoelstra should be capable of rallying this team or assisting Jimmy Butler in finding some inner peace. But it seems he is finished, and I believe we might return to the teams that were speculated about when Shams first reported this around a month ago. Those included a few Texas teams, particularly the Dallas Mavericks, which I don't see as feasible unless they are willing to part with Daniel Gafford or PJ Washington, and I doubt they would do that. The Houston Rockets are mentioned, and I think they would be the most sensible option. The Golden State Warriors are also in the mix, but I'm uncertain if they would trade Andrew Wiggins or Draymond Green, likely leaning towards Wiggins since trading Draymond doesn't make sense. Is Andrew Wiggins significantly inferior to Jimmy Butler at this point? Not really. One could even argue that this year, Wiggins has outperformed Butler. Would Jimmy adapt to the fast-paced offense of the Warriors? They'd also need to include more rotation players like Kuminga, Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson, and Kevon Looney, as Andrew Wiggins is earning about $24 million, while Jimmy Butler is at $48 million. Thus, they would have to find roughly $25 million in additional salary to make this trade feasible. Essentially, I don't see how this deal improves Golden State, so I wouldn't advise them to pursue a trade for Jimmy Butler. The Phoenix Suns are another team mentioned, and any trade here would likely revolve around Bradley Beal, since it's clear they aren't moving Kevin Durant or Devin Booker for Jimmy Butler. To finalize this deal, Bradley Beal would need to be a part of it, and he has 3 years remaining on it. His contract, including this season, which amounts to 2 more years of earning over $50 million. I don't understand why Miami would consider such a move, especially since they will have nearly a clean salary cap by the end of this year, or the 2026 season. Sure, they have Baum and Tyler Harrow signed, but they'll eventually be free from Jimmy Butler's contract, along with Terry Rozier's and Duncan Robinson's. This flexibility will allow them to either trade draft picks or acquire new ones in the coming years. Therefore, I would advise against trading Jimmy Butler for Bradley Beal. I'd prefer Butler to leave in the offseason instead. It's noteworthy as well that Pat Riley has essentially stated that the potential exit of Jimmy Butler isn't a concern, since the teams he'd be interested in joining to win a championship currently lack cap space. This gives the Miami Heat significant leverage to manage a sign and trade, because the only teams with the ability to pay Jimmy Butler this upcoming season are the Brooklyn Nets and the Washington Wizards. Other teams may find ways to create cap space too. Perhaps Brooklyn, if they draft Cooper Flagg, could think we can sign Jimmy Butler and attempt to trade for another star, gearing up for a competitive 2026. This scenario could be pivotal. I believe that the only team that could potentially be a good fit for Jimmy Butler is a major market team that, as they're not stronger than Cleveland, Boston, or New York. I don't even think they would fare better than Milwaukee in a playoff matchup, and likely not Orlando or Indiana either, perhaps even Atlanta. They might not even rank as the second best in their own division anymore, especially with a healthy Orlando and Atlanta's performance this year. Consequently, it feels like the right moment for Miami to conclude their efforts. It is unfortunate since they didn't claim the championship in 2020, so kudos to them for that run, and they fell short again in 2023 with another shout-out for their efforts. That year was remarkable as Miami overcame both Milwaukee and Boston, showcasing an impressive run. I understand that Jimmy has significantly contributed to the city, arguably more than Chris Bosh, aside from LeBron and Dwyane Wade, because Jimmy has shouldered the team's responsibilities. We've witnessed playoff Jimmy repeatedly for this franchise. Previously, I mentioned that the Houston Rockets could be a potential fit. They are among the top teams in this challenging Western Conference due to their outstanding defense, currently ranking third in the West with an 11-game lead over 500. However, their downfall has been offensive struggles, especially in clutch moments. While Alperen Sengun has performed well, he hasn't yet proven to be a go-to player on a championship squad. Jalen Green has faced efficiency issues, and Fred VanVleet has regressed in consistency. Therefore, Houston could be a feasible option since I don't believe Jimmy Butler will have overwhelming trade value, allowing them to possibly deal a lesser pick or even a young asset, though I wouldn't strongly recommend that. I'd suggest you could obtain some Sally filler along with possibly a protected first-round pick, maybe our top 20 protected first-round pick or something similar. We're not offering significant value, but if you want something for Jimmy, here it is. We can provide something, and perhaps you send out Fred VanVleet to make the finances work, though I'm uncertain if Miami would be interested in Fred VanVleet since they have terrors and might not require him. However, it's an expiring contract with a team option for the next year that you could certainly decline, giving you more flexibility moving forward since that team option is around $44 million. Opt out, and you effectively have $44 million off the books. Houston could also consider trading Dillon Brooks, who is earning $22 million, then $21 million, then $19 million. This could actually create more minutes for Reed Sheppard, and if Jimmy Butler departs at the end of the season, you won't be losing much. You're trading away an expiring Fred VanVleet, who's 30 and having a rough year, along with a protected first-round pick. As I assess other teams, I struggle to see anyone who can top that offer for Jimmy Butler, a 35-year-old having a poor season who has just requested a trade and seems to have given up on his team. In 2025, I don't view Jimmy Butler as holding much value. Sure, if this were after the 2023 season, I'd consider going all in for him, but he's not the same player now. The NBA is becoming increasingly talented, with younger, more athletic, faster teams. I don't believe Jimmy Butler significantly impacts most teams, especially not Golden State. If I were in their position, I wouldn't recommend pursuing a deal for him since it wouldn't improve their standing. However, for a team like Houston, it makes sense. They're currently among the top teams in the Western Conference and possess the defensive capability to go far in the playoffs, along with the necessary depth. What they really need is a clutch player for those alongside one of their numerous first-round picks doesn't negatively impact you. It shouldn't obstruct a potential trade involving Devin Booker or Kevin Durant if they view that as an option in the future. Therefore, I suggest that Houston is the most logical choice. As for Miami, I would be open to any offer at this stage. If a first-round pick can be secured even if it's top 25 protected, I would accept it. Do you think a better opportunity will arise in a trade during the off-season? Possibly, but this year seems somewhat unproductive. Now, the focus shifts to developing around Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and seeing if one of these players can advance after trading Jimmy Butler. I'd love to hear your thoughts on where he should end up. Do you anticipate a trade happening this year, or do you think Pat Riley will be resolute and keep Jimmy? Let me know your opinions below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Catch you all in the next post. Peace.